So I am back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going through if Khabib should be in GOAT conversations or not. Of course, Khabib has retired since his fight with Justin Gaethje in 2020, so it has been a very long 6 years since then. And yeah, I mean, this is talked about quite a lot. There is some people that think he should belong in GOAT conversations, and there is also some people who think he definitely does not belong in GOAT conversations. So I'm going to be going over the reasons why he should be in the GOAT conversations and why he shouldn't be in the GOAT conversations. But overall, starting off with the things Khabib achieved and why he should be mentioned in the GOAT conversations. So of course, as you know, Khabib is undefeated 29-0, which is a very rare and impressive record. I don't know why it says 30 fight win streak here, but 11 wins by submission and 8 by knockout. So 19 finishes in 29 fights is very decent in my opinion. So moving on to the first reason why ultimately Khabib should be in GOAT conversations, or should we say strong reasons why people may say he definitely is in them, is a very substantial one. He only lost 1 to 3 rounds through his entire UFC career. And even though he only had 13 fights in the UFC, that is extremely impressive and is one of the strongest arguments to how dominant he was in the UFC. So the rounds Khabib is said to have lost is against Conor McGregor at UFC 299, which was round 3, and this mainly is the clearest universally agreed round he lost, as Conor did defend well, landed clean shots and did avoid the takedowns. The second one is against Gleison Tibau at UFC 148. So this is often debated. Some people actually think Khabib did lose this fight, or at least a round. So Tibau did stuff quite a lot of takedowns and landed slightly more on the feet. So it's not officially scored against him, but this is the most controversial fight of his career. Some argue that he lost round 1 or 2. Some do argue as well that he did lose round 1 or 3 against Justin Gaethje at UFC 254. So a few scorecards and media gave round 1 to Justin Gaethje, as Gaethje did land solid leg kicks and strikes early, but many still scored it for Khabib due to pressure and control. So this one is kind of debatable, not clear cut as well. So compared to other greats like Jon Jones, that has lost multiple rounds and had close fights, such as for example the Dominic Reyes fight, as many people did think he won that fight, Dominic Reyes. And then you got George St. Pierre, of course, lost rounds and even fights. So the main difference was with Khabib, he wasn't just winning, he was almost never even slightly bleeding during fights. So the next, argument why Khabib should be in GOAT conversations is the damage that Khabib took. So across his entire career, 29 fights, he was rarely cut or visibly hurt, and literally looked like the picture on the left now. So he was never knocked down, never rocked badly, and never really in survival mode. That's almost unheard of MMA really. So examples against elite strikers, such as Conor McGregor, and you know Conor McGregor is one of the most precise strikers ever, and landed a few clean shots in round 3. Khabib just literally just walked through it and finished him. Versus Justin Gaethje, and you know Gaethje is known for his brutal leg kicks and power. He landed some early kicks, but Khabib took them, adjusted immediately and submitted him in round 2. Even against Dustin Poirier, like a dangerous boxer with finishing power. And I mean, Dustin Poirier even had a guillotine attempt, which was the closest thing to danger that Khabib experienced. And Khabib was able to escape calmly, and he did dominate the fight after that. Thinking about why Khabib took little damage, you got to think of his grappling control, as once Khabib got you down, you weren't really going to be striking with him, and opponents really spent rounds stuck not really fighting. And also pressure. He constantly had high pressure, forcing opponents backwards constantly, and they were really reacting, not attacking effectively. And you got to think as well, position over chaos. He was never reckless, always in safe dominant positions, and was just so calm and strategic in his way of trying to win the fight. So he didn't really give opponents chances to land those kind of big shots. So Khabib really did have that chin plus composure, so even when he did get hit, like, he didn't really panic, and he had no bad reactions, no follow-up damage, really. And compared to other GOATs like Jon Jones, of course Jon Jones took damage in wars like Gustafsson fight. George St. Pierre got dropped by Matt Serra, which was his loss, and then Anderson Silva of course knocked out multiple times. So Khabib really had no knockdowns against him, no major injuries in fights, and no near finishes against him, which makes his record and performances very, very impressive. And that's why the low damage status that Khabib has matters for the GOAT status. So it's not just about him winning, it's about how safe he was while he was winning and him having no problems at all in fights. So moving on to the last reason why Khabib should be mentioned in GOAT conversations is that he didn't just collect big names, he did fight top contenders and champions in their prime. And the thing is, he made them look levels below them, well, below him. So, for example, against Rafael dos Anjos, at the time elite lightweight, and later became champion, and he's known for his pressure, cardio and toughness, so that was a huge win for Khabib, in which Khabib dominated him with wrestling and control and clearly won 3 rounds. So this win, of course, aged incredibly well because RDA did become champ right after. Against Conor McGregor. So Conor McGregor, of course, is the biggest star in MMA history, and he's always going to be the biggest star in MMA history. No one even comes close to Conor McGregor's stardom. And of course, former double champion and elite striker. And then we also saw what happened. Khabib dropped him, controlled him on the ground, and submitted him in round 4. And this wasn't really competitive overall. Khabib imposed his game completely on Conor McGregor. Against Dustin Poirier is a top contender, the interim champion, one of the best boxers in MMA. And what happened in the fight, of course, Khabib controlled him on the ground. He survived Dustin Poirier's best moment, which was a guillotine attempt, and submitted him in round 3. And even in Dustin Poirier's strongest moment, Khabib did stay calm and took over again. And of course, against Justin Gaethje's last match, interim champion, known for his brutal power and anti-wrestling, Khabib, of course, walked him down immediately, took him down despite Justin Gaethje's elite defense, and submitted him in round 2. And this was supposed to be his toughest stylistic test, and he made it, well, really look easy. So the key point is his 3 straight elite finishes against Conor McGregor, Poirier and Gaethje. So Khabib didn't go to decision, he finished all 3. And in title fights against top 5 fighters, that is extremely rare. And this really matters for GOAT conversations, as a lot of fighters beat top opponents, but in close fights or win decisions. And Khabib, instead he faced elite fighters, of course, took minimal damage and finished them decisively. So I think that's a really good argument why he should be included in the GOAT conversations. So a main reason why Khabib shouldn't be in GOAT conversations was his title reign and overall career in the UFC was just too short. He only had 3 title defenses. Of course, it was against high-tier opposition, so very good names to add onto your resume. But he retired at 32, still in his prime, which is really early. And if you compare that to Jon Jones, he had a long reign with many defenses. He's had 17 title fights, being 16-1 in them, of course, due to the disqualification. And then you got GSP as well, dominated across for years and had 15 title fights, being 13-2 in them. So the GOAT debates are usually towards how long you was really on top. So Khabib's run was dominant and he was on top, but he was very short. It was extremely short than what I thought it would have been. Next, I'd say another reason why Khabib shouldn't be in GOAT conversations is resume depth. Not enough elite wins over time. Yes, he beat Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Rafael dos Anjos, and I just previously said those were elite enough to put him in the GOAT conversations, and they are. But when you compare them to other UFC fighters, like such as Charles Oliveira is definitely above Khabib in the GOAT status. You know, he beat Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier. He's beat way more people. Gamrot, who else? Dariush, Holloway. The list goes on with Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira stayed on top for a very, very long time. And of course, he had that 11-fight win streak, I believe, as well. And it's like other people like Jon Jones as well. Like, he's fought loads of people. And even now, heavyweight, I cannot believe what he did to Gane. Like, I did not expect that. And Gane is the number 1 still. I mean, it just shows you how bad the heavyweight division is, but he's still number 1. So that's the thing. And then many critics say as well, McGregor was inactive. I think McGregor would have lost anyway, even if he was in his prime, because I feel like Khabib was just too good. Gaethje and Poirier already had taken damage in wars. Of course, the Dan Hooker versus Poirier fight was very good. And there wasn't really much title defenses against new generations. Compare that to someone like GSP as well. GSP faced multiple errors, avenged losses, and beat more champions overall. So that's the main thing about Khabib. I do think 100% Khabib would have beat Charles Oliveira, but it's not on the actual resume. So I do feel like he could have fought more people, and that would have definitely made him into the GOAT conversations 100%. So another reason why Khabib Nurmagomedov shouldn't be in the GOAT status is lack of double champ and going up weight divisions. So Khabib only fought at lightweight in his whole career, and compare that to people like George St. Pierce, who won titles at 170 and 185, John Jones, who dominated 205 and later won the heavyweight title. So the GOAT conversations, in my opinion, often value success across multiple divisions. And this really matters because moving up, of course, you have stronger opponents with new stylistic challenges, and it proves your skill translates beyond one division. And Khabib really never tested that at all. And if we look at some fighters here, these fighters below are, I believe, higher than Khabib on the GOAT list. I mean, Islam Makhachev, of course, has 4 title defenses and has moved up to welterweight. And he's challenging himself, he's fighting tougher opponents. And if he fights Ian Gary, that is more a tough opponent than, of course, what he would get in lightweight. Of course, they are chasing for that Ilia Topuria fight. I don't know when that will happen. Alex Pereira, middleweight champion, went up to 205, 3 title defenses, now moving up to heavyweight. Like, Alex Pereira is definitely above Khabib in the GOAT status. And then you got Ilia Topuria. Of course, as I said, Khabib had 3 title defenses, and those 3 wins were very good, and he ended up finishing them. When it comes to Ilia Topuria, he had 3 elite wins in a row, and that was Max Holloway, Volkanovski, and Oliveira. He knocked out all 3 of them. That, in my opinion, gets you, way higher in the GOAT status than Khabib. And of course, he's earned titles in the lightweight division and the featherweight division. And even if his run was, his move up to lightweight was fast-tracked and he got to fight for the title, you got to think of it this way. He didn't prove them wrong. Like, he literally knocked out Charles Oliveira easily. So, yeah, these are people I think are way higher than Khabib on the GOAT list. And now it comes to the overall verdict. Is Khabib on the GOAT list or not? Should he be in conversations or no? I say no. Previously in a video when ranking UFC fighters, I did put him up in the GOAT section. However, in my opinion, I just feel like he retired extremely young. 32, still in his prime. When it comes to other fighters as well, having way more wins and more title defenses, I just feel like you can't really put Khabib up there. Because like even Israel Adesanya, I feel like is higher than Khabib on the GOAT list. He's had way more title fights than Khabib. Alex Pereira definitely is. When it comes to other people as well, such as, Islam's definitely on the GOAT list. But yeah, that is my stance on if Khabib should be mentioned in GOAT conversations. Like, he's a very good fighter, I wish he had stayed in the UFC and had more fights. He was definitely going to beat Holloway and Tony Ferguson. That was cancelled. But if you do believe that Khabib is in the GOAT conversation, then fair enough. I mean, he only lost like 2 rounds in his whole UFC career. He hardly took any damage and was extremely dominant against Conor, Dustin, and also Gaethje. So yeah, he's a very good fighter indeed. But yeah, that is just my stance on it. I just don't think he does belong in that kind of conversation. He's definitely one of the best fighters we will ever see in the UFC. And yeah, so I will be back with another video soon. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And see you on the next one.